Okay, let's unpack this. I want you to picture something. A huge crowd, right? Hundreds of thousands of people gathered together.
Hmm.
They've come from all over India, some even from other countries. They're waiting patiently, maybe for hours, maybe even days.
Okay, yeah. What for? A concert? A festival?
No, that's the thing. They're waiting, well, they're waiting to swallow a tiny live fish.
Wow. Okay, that's definitely a unique image. You're talking about the Fish Prasadam in Hyderabad, aren't you?
Exactly. The annual Fish Prasadam distribution, it completely takes over the Nampally Exhibition Grounds. It's this incredible mix of, well, hope and chaos, maybe?
It really is something else, a phenomenon.
And that's what we want to dive into today. We've got this amazing stack of material, and our mission is to guide you through it all. The history, the mind-boggling scale, the science, or maybe the lack of it.
Right, and the controversies too, they're definitely part of the story. Plus, the human side, why do people keep coming?
Absolutely. We want to understand what this is really all about. Why does this event draw so many people year after year? If you're intrigued, maybe a bit skeptical, stick with us.
And just so you know, for 2025, the dates are set for June 8th and 9th.
So the core ritual, it's swallowing this live murrel fish fingerling.
Yeah, a tiny one. And inside its mouth, there's a secret herbal paste.
Secret paste.
Very secret. And the belief, the reason people do it, is that it helps with respiratory problems. Asthma is the main one mentioned.
And the scale, it's just hard to grasp. But you said 5 lakh people last year, 500,000.
That's right. And the projection for 2025 is, get this, 700,000 people.
Wow. That's a huge jump. It tells you something, doesn't it? About the faith people place in this, or maybe the need.
It's this fascinating crossroads, isn't it? Tradition, faith, health claims, and a massive logistical puzzle.
So our deep dive today, we'll look at all of it. The origins, how they manage those crowds, the claims versus the science, the tricky parts, the controversies.
And those personal stories, they're really powerful.
Definitely. So let's start right at the beginning. Where did this whole thing even come from? Swallowing fish isn't exactly standard practice.
No, it certainly isn't. The story goes way back. We're talking 1845.
1845.
Really? Yeah. According to the Bathini Goud family, they're the ones who carry this tradition forward, it all started with a saint.
A saint, okay?
This saint apparently encountered one of their ancestors who was very pious and gifted him this secret herbal formula.
Like a family recipe, but secret.
Exactly, a closely guarded secret. The original instructions were to take this specific yellow paste, put it inside the mouth of a live murrel fish.
A live one, yeah.
And give it to asthma sufferers to swallow whole.
And there were conditions attached.
Yes, 2 big ones. It had to be given free of charge, no profiting from it.
Okay.
And it could only be distributed on one specific day each year, the day of Mrigasira Karthi. That's an auspicious day in the Hindu calendar, usually falling in early June.
Which explains the timing.
Yeah.
And the family has kept this promise for, what is that now?
Almost 180 years. 179 years, they say. It's an incredible commitment, generation after generation.
That really is something. And the core claim hasn't changed. It's still about relief for asthma and breathing issues.
That's the central belief, yes. That this prasadam, they call it prasadam, like a sacred offering, provides relief. That's what draws the crowds.
Okay, so let's jump forward to now, or rather June 8th and 9th, 2025. What does it actually look like at the Nampally Exhibition Grounds? Managing 700,000 people, I can't even picture it.
It's like a city within a city springs up. People travel from everywhere, not just nearby states, but Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka, Maharashtra.
You mentioned even from abroad.
Yes, some international visitors too. It's become this pilgrimage site almost. And remember, 5 lakh last year, aiming for 7 lakh this year. That's a huge increase.
And it's not just a quick event. The distribution is nonstop.
Pretty much. It kicks off around 11 a.m. on June 8th and runs straight through until about 10 a.m. the next day, June 9th.
Over 23 hours straight. The logistics must be insane.
Think about it. Over 500 kilos of that paste need to be prepared and distributed. They set up dozens and dozens of counters, 32 general counters, 16 for tokens, 35 just for the fish.
Wow.
And it wouldn't be possible without massive government support. The Telangana government is heavily involved.
How so?
Well, the fisheries department supplies the murrel fingerlings. Interestingly, at a subsidized price, 40 rupees each.
Okay.
Then you've got the municipal corporation, GHMC, handling sanitation, the water board for water, fire department, electricity, and of course, a huge police presence for crowd control and security. It's a major coordinated effort.
So it's a family tradition plus the state government. And you mentioned NGOs play a big part too.
Oh, absolutely crucial. Their role is immense. Groups like the Badri Vishal Panelal PT Trust, Agarwal Sevadal, they set up these camps for days, starting even before the main event.
What do they provide?
Everything. Free food, water, snacks, buttermilk, which must be welcome in the June heat, even ambulance services. It's like a massive festival, maybe comparable to something like Coachella in terms of scale and needing support services.
But with a totally different vibe.
Completely different. It's about shared hope, community support, not entertainment. It's quite moving, actually.
That community aspect sounds powerful.
Hmm.
And the Bathini family, they have their own rituals before it all starts.
They do. Before the main distribution, they perform specific pujas like the Satyanarayana Vratam and Bhavi Puja at their ancestral home. It's about infusing the prasadam with blessings, maintaining the spiritual side of the tradition.
Okay, so you're there, you've waited, you finally get to the counter. What's the actual process?
Right. A member of the Bathini Goud family takes one of the live fingerlings.
A prickle.
Presumably, yes. They put a bit of that yellow paste into its mouth, and then you, the patient, swallow it whole.
Just like that. Wow, that takes some serious commitment. Or faith.
It really does. It's not something you do lightly, I imagine.
Is there an alternative for vegetarians or maybe just people who really can't face swallowing a live fish?
Yes, there is. They offer the same herbal paste mixed with jaggery, like a small sweet ball.
Okay. Does it work the same?
Well, the family suggests it might take longer to see effects compared to taking it with the fish. The fish is considered the primary method.
Got it. So once you've taken the plunge, so to speak, is that it? You go home?
Not quite. There's a whole follow-up regimen. They advise patients to follow a pretty strict diet for 45 days.
45 days in Hyderabad, the land of biryani. That must be tough.
Exactly. I imagine that's a challenge in itself.
And is there more after the diet?
Yes. Patients also receive some extra paste, usually in pill form, to take on specific dates later on. These dates are tied to the Hindu lunar calendar days like Arudra, Punarvasu, and Pushami, typically falling later in June and July.
Okay, so it's an ongoing thing.
And for what they call optimal results, the recommendation is actually to repeat the entire ritual fish diet follow-up doses for 4 years in a row.
4 years. It's a real commitment.
It absolutely is, like signing up for a long-term traditional therapy.
So the family claims it helps with asthma. And clearly hundreds of thousands believe it. They keep coming back.
Yeah.
There must be anecdotal evidence, right? People feeling better.
Definitely. That's what fuels it. People report less wheezing, fewer asthma attacks, just generally feeling relief. That personal testimony is incredibly powerful.
So the big question, what does science say? Is there any proof?
And that's the major sticking point. Based on all the sources we've looked at, the short answer is no. There is no credible, peer-reviewed scientific evidence to back up the claim that the fish prasadam treats asthma or any other respiratory condition.
And a big part of that problem is the secret paste, right?
Exactly. Because the ingredients are a closely guarded family secret passed down for generations, scientists can't actually study it properly.
You can't analyze it.
Nope. The family won't allow it. From a scientific perspective, you can't evaluate effectiveness or safety if you don't even know what's in the substance. That lack of transparency is a huge barrier.
What about the fish itself? Any medicinal value in swallowing it live?
Well, marrow fish is nutritious, sure. Good protein, omega-3s, those are healthy. But swallowing it live, there's no known scientific mechanism by which that specific act would treat asthma. Maybe you get a strong gag reflex, but that's not a cure.
So if there is any effect, the focus is really on the paste.
That's where the speculation lies. Since we don't know the ingredients, people guess. Maybe it contains herbs with anti-inflammatory properties, or something that acts like a bronchodilator, opening the airways.
Like common traditional herbs, turmeric, ginger.
Those are the kinds of things people speculate about because they're known in traditional medicine. But it's pure speculation. The Bathini family hasn't confirmed a single ingredient. They maintain the secrecy.
And this is obviously very different from how modern asthma treatments are viewed.
Completely different. Standard treatments like inhalers, pills they go through years of rigorous testing, clinical trials, safety studies, efficacy data. We know how they work, what the risks are.
There's evidence.
Loads of evidence. The fish prasadam just doesn't have that scientific scrutiny or validation.
So how do we explain all those people who genuinely feel better after taking it? If it's not the fish or provably the paste?
This is where the placebo effect likely plays a really significant role.
Ah, the power of belief.
Exactly. It's a well-known phenomenon. If you strongly believe a treatment will help you, your brain can actually trigger physiological responses that make you feel better, even if the treatment itself has no direct biological effect on the condition.
And this event has all the ingredients for a powerful placebo effect, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Think about it. The deep spiritual context, the journey, the massive crowd sharing the same hope, the ritualistic act of swallowing the fish, the family's long tradition, all that creates potent expectation and belief.
Which can genuinely lead to symptom improvement for some people.
It can. Psychology is powerful. There was even a study, I think, in the New England Journal of Medicine back in 2011 showing that placebos helped asthma patients feel better even when they knew it was a placebo.
Wow. So belief itself can be therapeutic to an extent?
It seems so. The mind-body connection is complex, and the context of healing really matters.
Okay, so we have this mix. Deep tradition, huge crowds, strong belief, but zero scientific proof. It makes sense then that this whole thing is surrounded by risks and controversies.
Yes, that's definitely a big part of the picture, and some are very practical, physical risks.
Like choking.
Exactly. Swallowing a live fish, even a small one, carries a risk of choking, especially for children or the elderly or anyone with swallowing difficulties. It's a genuine hazard.
And managing the crowd itself has led to problems in the past.
Tragically, yes. There was a stampede back in 2012 when the event was held at a different location, Katahdin. One person died and several were injured. It was a terrible reminder of the dangers of such large, dense crowds.
Besides the physical dangers, there have been concerns about the paste itself, haven't there? From medical bodies.
Yes, the Indian Medical Association, IMA, has been a vocal critic. They've raised serious concerns, even in legal challenges, alleging that the secret paste might contain harmful heavy metals.
Heavy metals, like mercury or lead.
Those were the specific concerns raised, things that could be toxic. Now, the Bathini family strongly denies this.
But I won't allow testing.
Correct. They refuse independent testing, citing the secrecy and sanctity of the recipe, which, of course, doesn't satisfy the critics or ease those health concerns.
Wasn't there a big controversy last year, in 2024, about the number of fish? Something about fraud.
Ah, yes. That was a significant issue highlighted by the Deccan Chronicle. They reported a major discrepancy.
What was it?
The Fisheries Department officially reported supplying around 45,000 murrel fingerlings for the event.
Okay, 45,000.
But the Bathini family claimed they served around 5 lakh people, 500,000.
Wait, 45,000 fish supplied, but 500,000 people served. That's a massive gap, over 450,000 fish difference.
Precisely. Where did the other fish come from? Or was the number served vastly inflated? The investigation suggested this discrepancy could point towards potential fraud, possibly involving large sums of money.
And did anything come of that investigation?
Questions were raised about the government's oversight at the time. An investigation was urged, but based on the sources, it seems no specific culprits were identified or held accountable. It leaves a big question mark hanging over the whole process.
So you've got health worries, potential fraud, and the ongoing basic criticism from scientists and rationalists.
Right. Their core argument remains. It's unproven, potentially risky, and promoting it might stop people from using effective, evidence-based asthma treatments.
Which could be dangerous.
That's the fear. The legal pressure did force the family to change the name from fish medicine to Fish Prasadam to emphasize the faith aspect over the medical claim. But the fundamental criticism hasn't gone away.
And there's another angle to animal rights.
Yes, that's a significant ethical debate. Using hundreds of thousands of live fish this way raises questions. Is it humane? Is it sustainable?
What's the family's response to that?
They argue the fish isn't just a fish in this context. It's seen as a sacred vessel, essential to the ritual and its power. But for animal welfare advocates, that doesn't really address the concerns about the treatment of the animals.
So despite all this, the risks, the lack of proof, the controversies, the ethical questions, the event continues. And it's growing. 700,000 expected. What keeps people coming back? It has to be more than just habit.
I think it boils down to the human element, the sheer power of hope.
Tell me more.
When you read the stories of the people who attend, It's incredibly moving. There was an account of a 70-year-old woman from Tamil Nadu waiting patiently for hours, clutching her inhaler, just praying this would finally bring her relief after years of suffering.
Wow.
Or the young father from Maharashtra traveled 700 kilometers with his daughter who has severe asthma. They couldn't afford a hotel, so they just slept on the grounds with thousands of others.
That level of desperation, or maybe faith.
It's powerful. These aren't isolated stories. They represent thousands seeking relief, often when conventional medicine hasn't worked completely, or it's too expensive, or the side effects are too much. They're looking for an alternative, for hope.
And this is where those NGOs become so important again, supporting these vulnerable people.
Absolutely. It's not just about handing out fish, it's about providing basic human needs. We heard about a Gurudwara in Afzalgunj assisting over 3,000 people with food, water, shelter.
That's amazing community support.
And the Badri Vishal Panalapeti Press Camp, giving out buttermilk, helping emergency services. It really does become this massive community effort. You see faith and compassion working together, even amidst all the controversy.
And you have to acknowledge the Bathini family's dedication, too. Nearly 180 years is a long time to keep something like this going.
It is, especially facing the scrutiny, the logistical nightmares, and even personal loss. The chief organizer, Bathini Goud, passed away in 2023. But other family members, Amarnath, Vishwanatham, Shivanand Goud, they step up, perform the rituals, stuff the fish, serve the crowds.
What's their stated motivation?
From their perspective, it seems to be about fulfilling that promise made to the saint all those years ago, a sense of duty, of carrying on a sacred trust rather than seeking personal gain.
Taking a step back, this Fish Prasadam feels like more than just a ritual. It seems woven into the fabric of Hyderabad.
It really does. It's become a cultural institution, a Hyderabad thing. It kind of reflects the city's own unique character, that blend of ancient traditions and modern life, the sometimes quirky and the deeply sacred existing side by side.
And it attracts people from different religions.
That's a key point. You see Hindus, Muslims, Christians, all there, united by that common search for relief. It's like a microcosm of India's pluralism in action.
It also fits into that broader Indian context where alternative medicine is widely accepted, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Ayurveda, Unani, homeopathy. These systems have coexisted with modern medicine for a long time. For many people, if allopathy hasn't provided all the answers for a chronic issue like asthma,
Or it's too expensive.
right, or the side effects are difficult, then a free traditional remedy with a strong spiritual element and huge community participation can seem like a very appealing option. It fills a perceived gap.
So looking ahead to June 2025, preparations must be in full swing.
They are. Reports mention the Bathini family meeting with top officials, the district collector, even the chief minister to coordinate logistics.
Trying to avoid past problems, presumably, like the stampede.
You'd hope so. The focus seems to be on better security, smoother crowd flow, learning lessons to handle that massive projected number of 700,000 people safely.
So it's definitely happening again, despite everything we've discussed.
It seems absolutely set to go ahead. The machine is in motion. The fish, as they say, are ready to swim into history again.
But the big questions remain unanswered.
Completely. Will it ever be scientifically validated? Will the family ever reveal the ingredients? What really happened with all those missing fish in 2024? Those questions hover over the event.
For now, it just keeps going.
It thrives on faith, on community, on tradition, and yeah, on the sheer audacity of swallowing a live fish for hope.
It's such a complex picture we've painted. The deep history, the incredible logistics, that stark contrast between fervent belief and scientific doubt, the serious controversies.
And underlying it all, those powerful human stories, people desperately seeking relief, finding community, participating in this extraordinary ritual.
It really is a compelling tradition, reflects so much about hope, culture, and that constant human search for healing.
It definitely gives you a lot to think about.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's the final thought for you listening. When you consider this tradition, the sheer length people go to, driven by hope, what does it make you think about the relationship between faith, culture, how we perceive healing, and where science fits into all of that? It's certainly something to ponder.